Stuck in a relationship with a gamer boyfriend who's too busy to plan a date, I pay for everything while he squanders cash on junk food and gaming. I don't want to hurt him, but I'm drowning in resentment. Is love enough to save us, or is it time to let go? Welcome to my chaotic situation. I apologize for the poor grammar in advance. I need to express what is on my mind and in my heart. I am feeling overwhelmed and stuck. I, a 21-year-old female, have been in a relationship with my boyfriend, a 22-year-old male, for almost 2 years as of June, and we have known each other since the 8th grade. We have always been good friends and have gotten along well. When we first began dating, everything was fantastic. It was exciting and fun, but now it has changed. I mean this in the sense that we literally do not do anything together anymore, and he shows no concern for how I feel about it or my wants and needs in relation to this situation. He prefers to stay home and play video games all day. He lacks motivation to engage in anything productive. For instance, I have been pleading with him for months to share responsibilities with me, especially in planning dates, and to take the initiative to plan one for a change. Every time I have brought this up over the past year since we moved in together, which will be in this upcoming July, I have discussed establishing monthly date nights and alternating who plans and manages the arrangements. However, he continuously fights me on this and comes up with every excuse imaginable while also stonewalling me. Time management and money are his primary excuses. Since I primarily work a night shift at a laboratory, and even though he has a welding certification, he is currently working a low-paying job at a pizza place. Initially, I did not mind his situation because he was struggling to find a job after moving from his own place to mine, so we found him one nearby as he does not have a car. However, he has the potential to earn more, and he is actively choosing not to, working very limited hours. I work full-time 3 days a week with 12-hour shifts, plus I often pick up extra shifts on other days. He works full-time at a pizza job, earning barely enough, working from 3 to 8 every day. He barely works 5 hours daily, and his schedule is often inconsistent. Some weeks he works only 2 to 3 days, while during others he might work 4 to 5. Still, he could have a welding job, earn more money, and have a better schedule, yet he is choosing not to pursue that path. He has had 2 welding jobs, one before we started dating and one during our relationship. He quit both and has been saying for months that he needs more money and that things are tough, but he refuses to seek another welding position, which is supposedly what he loves and is passionate about. Regarding time management, most weeks I have 4 days off. I would also like to mention that since starting my new job at the laboratory, I transitioned from working in a clinical setting where my hours were 9 to 5, 5 days a week. He has had every opportunity to return to welding since I have 4 days off, and have even offered him my car if he wanted to pursue that career path. I would happily work things out with him if it meant he could do something he enjoyed instead of being stuck at a pizza shop. He has days off with me, so I cannot understand what is preventing him from pursuing this other than his apparent lack of desire to do so. He merely says all the right things to silence me. I would also like to add that he struggles with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and is not currently on medication but wants to be. However, he is not putting in the effort to address this issue either, which contributes to his time management struggles, yet he refuses to tackle it. I do not want to nag or argue, but I am making efforts to improve my situation and earn money while he can barely contribute to rent and feeds his nicotine addiction. I do not mind paying for things as a woman and believe in splitting costs, but I find myself covering virtually everything in this relationship. I have paid for nearly everything, including all our dates, meals, drinks. If you can name it, I have covered it. Yet he cannot be bothered to plan a date and take me out for 2 to 3 hours every few months, but manages to spend money on food delivery almost every single day. I am exhausted from feeling alone in this relationship, and I desire more, but I fear he will not change. I do not want to break up as I genuinely love him. He does not treat me poorly, but he simply does not seem inclined to grow. I am unsure what else I can do aside from tolerating this and hoping for change while I work on myself or deciding to leave. My concerns also stem from incidents like last year when he did not get me anything for Valentine's Day or my birthday, although I got him gifts. At the time, I was somewhat understanding since he was struggling to live with 2 difficult roommates, and rent was exorbitant, which is why I appreciated that things were challenging for him as he was also working another pizza job beforehand. However, he repeatedly expressed a desire for a welding job, and he still does. I would also like to mention that I helped pay for his food needs, and that I drove every weekend until my transmission started experiencing issues to see him. I even had to urge him to take the train to visit me because the hour-long trip was hard on my old car. I did not mind putting in more effort back then as I recognized he had a lot going on and was enduring quite a struggle, with no family support as his family is quite dysfunctional, and his mother can be very difficult. This year he did get me something for Valentine's Day, but it was weird because it arrived late, and he asked if I wanted it or if he should hold it for my birthday, which really frustrated me. I was not upset about the lateness. I just want him to demonstrate that he genuinely cares about me and that he means what he says about wanting a future together. In the future, I want a house, children, and a fulfilling life. We cannot achieve those things if I am the only one exerting effort. It will not work if I am the only one keeping everything afloat. I cannot handle it all by myself, and I deserve to be taken care of as well. I deserve to be treated well. I am not materialistic. I am not asking for expensive dinners, lavish gifts, or extravagant outings, but could we go to a movie? Can we go bowling, visit a bar, or take a walk in the park? Can he create a card expressing his love for me? Can he buy me some candy or something? Just anything. It makes me feel like I am not worth the effort or his hard-earned money, or that he is embarrassed by me and does not want to be seen with me in public. I want to reach a point where we can enjoy ourselves and have stability, especially since I desire a future and all the things I have mentioned. I do not understand why these matters are not important to him, and more importantly, I do not understand why he cannot recognize why such issues are significant to me and why they should also matter to him. I am beginning to question whether things might be better elsewhere, and I find myself feeling a grievance against him. I resent him for not securing a welding job. I resent him for not trying to improve his situation. I resent him for placing the burden of every expense on me. I am filled with frustration right now. It is also becoming a burden to be around him, yet there seems to be no justification for his lack of growth and inability to get his life together with me. He also continually puts things off, which is infuriating. His driver's license needed to be renewed around his birthday last October, and he took an unreasonably long time to attend to it. He still has not gotten around to obtaining his new license from the Department of Motor Vehicles, and his temporary license expired on March 11, which I only learned about when he mentioned it. He has driven my car to the store 4 times with this expired temporary license, which is completely unacceptable. He also delayed filing his taxes last year, waiting until the last day of his extension to complete them, and is repeating the same behavior this year by filing yet another extension rather than taking action. I realize that I sound upset and hostile at the moment, but I do not wish to hurt him. I love him deeply. There is not a thing I would not do for him because of this love. I do not want to break up. I know it would hurt both of us. I believe he loves me and I truly love him, but I am unsure how much longer I can endure feeling alone in this relationship, talking to a brick wall. Furthermore, I am not looking forward to the potential awkwardness of dividing shared possessions, such as our PlayStation 5, for which I pay the monthly subscription, and he promised to share the cost with me but has not done so during the 5 months we have owned it. We technically went halves on the console itself, so I do not want to fight about that, nor do I want to deal with the complications of moving out or maintaining our friendship. I have never lived with someone before. I do not know how to navigate the situation as I have not experienced a relationship this serious or one in which I truly envisioned a future together. I have had serious relationships, but none as profound as this one. There are so many unknown factors, and I am unsure how to resolve this or if it is even my responsibility to fix it. I feel like I am losing my mind, and I increasingly feel trapped. Summary: my boyfriend is not investing any effort into our relationship, and after multiple conversations about our issues, I am questioning whether this relationship is still worth pursuing and considering a breakup. Story 2. We were supposed to keep it platonic, but after a heart-wrenching conversation, he told me, "You're my favorite person and I don't think I could go days without talking to you." Now I'm left questioning if our bond is real or just a friendship built on confusion and longing. What do I do next? I am in the strangest emotional space right now. I do not know if I need advice or just to feel less alone in this messy situation. My best friend and I had a connection when we first met. We were both very attracted to each other and we clicked immediately. It was intense and passionate and things worked well back then. I was experiencing a complicated emotional situation and always mentioned that I wanted no attachments. We never officially dated. That whole affair ended when I decided to reconcile with my ex, which really hurt him. After that, he emotionally distanced himself from those feelings, but remained in my life as my best friend, someone who is always there for me unconditionally. We have maintained a strictly platonic relationship to the extent that his feelings for me felt like something that belonged to a previous lifetime. Long after my previous relationship concluded, we both experienced periods of being single, but nothing ever happened between us. Therefore, it always felt like we would remain platonic. However, not long ago, everything changed. He mentioned that he was talking to someone at work whom he liked, and I realized I was feeling jealous. That jealousy triggered alarm bells in my mind and caused me to reassess everything. It felt as if someone else might be replacing or pushing me out of his life, and I recognized that this feeling arose because we behave as if we are a couple. To be completely honest, he has felt more like a boyfriend emotionally than anyone I have actually dated. We would call each other daily for hours at a time, discussing absolutely anything. Over the years, we have become each other's safe spaces. I would stay over at his house once a week. We would cuddle and often treat each other to dinners and snacks. If I am sick or if something is wrong, he is the first person there to care for me or assist with anything, and I do the same for him. I initiated a serious conversation about where we stand and what our boundaries are. We discussed our dynamic and how much space we occupy in each other's lives, and how it sometimes feels like more than mere friendship. We agreed that this dynamic would be extremely unsustainable if he wanted to pursue someone else. We talked about cutting things off or enforcing some distance, which, to be honest, we both agreed that deep down neither of us wanted, but it seemed necessary as we are too emotionally attached to one another. This discussion was intended to create space for us to date other people. However, during our conversation, things became incredibly emotionally intimate and then physically intense. We did not kiss on the lips, but there was significant closeness. We kissed each other's cheeks, foreheads, noses, and necks while holding one another for long stretches. The kind of touch was so tender and intentional that it transcended platonic boundaries. We kept insisting that we could not do this, yet we remained fully entangled, our bodies close, our clothes on, but essentially recreating what it feels like to be intimate. This continued for some time. After one of the several moments when he insisted we could not continue like this, he looked at me and confessed that he genuinely wanted to, but he did not want to damage our friendship. He wished he could give me everything I desired in this world to make me happy. He also stated somewhat jokingly but somewhat seriously that perhaps in 5 years, if nothing works out for either of us, we would meet again. He insisted he would go anywhere to meet me. We engaged in a back and forth until at one point he cried. I cried as well. He told me, "This is messed up, but I believe you are more important to me than my mother. I can go days without talking to her. Not you, you are my favorite person." During that discussion, there was much more physical intimacy, but we refrained from kissing or fully crossing any lines. We decided to take time apart from each other after that night. After a few days of silence, we called one another and I addressed the unspoken tension, to which he responded that he did not understand why that had occurred. He speculated that it was due to our vulnerability or unresolved issues from the past, but assured me that it would not happen again. He mentioned that he does not want casual relationships and that he does not see me in a romantic light. He expressed that he wished he did, but after what transpired years ago, he simply does not view me that way. We had been fluctuating between being distant to allow more room for others in our lives, relationships, etc., since we are too intimate and close with one another. However, he expressed his love for our friendship dynamic, stating that the physical interactions that had happened should not recur, as they would only complicate matters further. During that call, we agreed we could revert to our previous dynamic and gradually figure things out if something else were to arise for either one of us. This entire situation has led us to question what even constitutes a relationship. We both love each other deeply and are physically attracted to one another. We want to communicate every day, and his achievements are my achievements and vice versa. That to me feels like being in love with someone, but he interprets it more in terms of butterflies in his stomach, which he no longer experiences. It is important to note that I have been in longer relationships, while he has not had many long-term ones, which causes us to perceive these romantic notions quite differently regarding our definitions. I have been oscillating back and forth and have started feeling guilty about agreeing to return to our usual dynamic. I felt selfish for suggesting that perhaps I was depriving him of the opportunity to be with the person he is interested in just because I am afraid of being replaced. Alternatively, it may be necessary for us to create distance naturally in order to allow more room for something new. I continue to feel uneasy regarding the entire situation, especially since the physical intimacy had not been thoroughly addressed beyond it being labeled a mistake that would not happen again. A few days later, I messaged him to request a conversation because I felt uncomfortable about what had taken place, and I believed we still needed to resolve several issues. I expressed my wish for us to be honest with one another, even if it was complicated. I mentioned that I did not expect us to find all the answers immediately, but we needed to have a candid discussion about where we stood. I inquired whether he believed he needed space or the opportunity for something or someone else in his life, ensuring that it would be okay if he did, but I just wanted to understand his current feelings, as I needed to know whether I should step back to allow him that space. He later responded that he was unsure of his situation and was merely concentrating on where he currently stood. I asked if it would be better for me to step back while he figured things out, as I did not want to obstruct something he might desire. He indicated that he did not want to create distance unless things did not work out, but he acknowledged the need to explore how our situation was meant to evolve, even though it was difficult. He mentioned that he did not want to lose me, but that we required distance to make room for other matters. He admitted that he had hoped everything would remain unchanged and that we would address subsequent issues later, but he recognized that this was unfair to both of us. We agreed that we would continue to socialize within our group and see our friends, but we also acknowledged that things might be shifting between us, and that we should plan another in-person discussion in a few days to delve deeper into everything after some time apart. This entire situation has left me feeling deeply conflicted. Now I find myself questioning what all of this signifies. I do not know if it was a mistake or something genuine, and I cannot stop ruminating on it. He continuously states that I am his best friend, his favorite person, and he does not want that to change. However, his actions and words seem so different that I no longer know what to believe. He has confessed that he is confused about his feelings because all of this, to him, felt like typical best friend behavior, but I know that is not accurate. I do not want to be a nuisance by constantly reevaluating our dynamic, but it is incredibly frustrating and painful to exist in this emotional limbo with the person I care about most. In summary, my 28F best friend 33M and I share a profound emotional and physical closeness, but he claims we are merely friends. I am perplexed after a recent intimate moment and uncertain about where we truly stand.